And we see that happening as well. So the blueprint of Babel is absolutely reliable. And God comes along, and as you correctly said earlier, doesn't punish the people. The name of God used in the Hebrew text is not the judgment God, it's the mercy God. And he's saying, I'm on the side of people. I'm not on the side of tyrannical government. I'm on the side of the Abraham model, which happens to be the model subscribed to passionately and fervently by the founders of the United States.
What he says, because we're going to have to take a break here, what he basically says is, I'm going to make you back into stones.
That's exactly right.
Not into bricks. And that's why he confuses their language, because they're no longer working as one.
Yeah, he's not crazy about the one world idea.
Right, and he's not punishing them because the people thought they were doing the right thing. It's almost like social justice. People are getting involved in social justice, which is a perversion in most cases, or many cases, of that Jesus idea or that grand idea of help one another. It's push it, like Jim Wallace says, push it into the government, into the tower. They think they're doing good, and that's why God didn't punish them. He blessed them by making them stones again, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now here comes the big finish, boys. Wait until you see. I'm going to start back again, or end where we began the show, in something that will boggle your mind. Back in a minute.
Restoring honor is very close to my heart, and it's close to what I want for my children and for my family.
I am telling you now with everything in me, in 20 years from now, someone will be 28, and they will say, I remember my parents took me as a kid, and I remember that moment, and I remember that's when I decided that I was going to live my life in a different way. We must grow our own George Washingtons. We must grow a new Abraham Lincoln.
This is my future, and I want to show my family, my sons, that America is worth saving. America is honorable.
Discover what you truly believe. Find out why you believe it. Find out what your place is in all of this. What is your mission? What is your duty? What is your honor?
With Rabbi Daniel Lapin. Now, we have been talking about the Tower of Babel and Hunter, and Nimrod was a great king, but he was actually a hunter, and the difference between bricks and stones. These are individuals. Everybody is exactly the same. The mortar that held the bricks together was materialism, and they were building a tower, the Tower of Babel. All right, I'm going to start where I began tonight. Bring up the EU Parliament building. Love this. Huh? Beautiful building, isn't it? Look at that. Now, let me go back to the Tower of Babel. Put the Tower of Babel back up. Here's the Tower of Babel. Here you see it's unfinished. And here's unfinished, a little doorway over here. And pretty amazing. Put them side by side, please. Coincidence?
Well, there's no word in Hebrew for coincidence, Glenn, so
Right.
I have to reject the coincidence theory.
This is amazing. If you look at the unfinished doorway here, the doorway here, the little doorways up here, the doorway here. You have these, what would you call these?
Vertical buttresses.
Buttresses.
There they are.
Which are all right here. It's unfinished. I mean, in the same angle and everything. I mean, it's unbelievable.
And how it steps down all the unfinished work in both pictures.
Right.
And in the same direction, both from right to left. Strange.
So now, you're not saying, Rabbi, you're not saying that they intentionally are building the Tower of Babel.
I think they are. I really do. I do believe and was told that the design of the headquarters of the European Parliament in Strasbourg, France, was the designers were asked to make it resemble the Tower of Babel.
They said, because we called it, we tried to verify, and what they say is they're just reflecting like the Colosseum.
Yeah, that's what we want to build in Europe, right? A place where Christians got fed to lions.
That's
so
it doesn't really make it any. It really doesn't make it any better. But it is remarkable, especially since what was the name of that report, Virginia? What was the name of that report? One tongue, one language, or
many languages, one people.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Their actual slogan is many languages, one family. Which goes again to the Nimrod story of languages.
They can't help it, Glenn. Anybody who is following the Babel blueprint wants to eliminate distinctions between individuals and between countries and bring it all together under one tower government.
Okay, so now look, here's the thing, America. I don't know if that's what they were doing. I mean, that is, wow. I don't know if that's what they were doing. I don't really care. I just know the lesson that you should learn here is that we're stones. We're not all made exactly alike. And materialism is the mortar that holds us together. So now what are we going to do about it? Oh, that's right. I told you that I was starting on solutions and answers. Yes. Next. This program is going to stop just warning people about what's coming, and we are going to be a part of the solution. Tonight, we take another step in that direction. I just told you the story of the Tower of Babel and how Nimrod tried to make everybody into a brick. And everybody's not a brick, we're stones. Made them into a brick, and then materialism was the mortar that kept everybody together. We've got to stop worrying about the stuff that we have and not be another brick in the wall. Play a role in a stone foundation. Last night, I told you to go home and talk to your spouse and your families about downsizing your life. I told you that there's a study out that shows the average person has about $25,000 of unused stuff in their house. I find that amazing. Well, I made a decision to downsize my life by decluttering my house and selling the stuff that my wife and we don't use. We went around our house this weekend and we tagged all the stuff, and we're going to start selling it now on a website called upillar.com. It's coming up next week. I'm going to have it posted next week. I'm donating all the proceeds of my stuff to a very special cause this Christmas, and you'll find more about that in just a few days. Find all the details about what I'm doing at glennbeck.com. Now, to be totally upfront with you, I'm using UPillar because they happen to be a sponsor of my radio show, and I know the guy who started UPillar. I think the guy is a genius. You can use whatever you want. You can sell it on eBay or Craigslist or whatever. These guys don't charge anything for it. Now, you could have just a yard sale. That is, if the government is still allowing that in your area. And don't forget, starting next year, in the health care bill for some unknown reason, if you sell anything worth more than $600, you need to send out a 1099. So this would be your last chance before the end of the year to do all the selling without any of the paperwork. Get the clutter out of your life. And then I ask you to please use that money wisely. Invest it. Invest it in food storage. Have the extra on hand, because we need to be a shelter for others. Over the next few days, I'm going to show you what's happening to our food prices and energy prices and our clothing prices. I told you earlier the price of cotton is 95% increase this year. 95%. Do you know what that means for the price of clothing? Bloomberg had a story today. The Gap, Walmart clothing cost rise on terrifying cotton prices. The director at a China market research group warns American consumers better get used to rising prices on the shelves of Walmart and other retailers. The world is about to change. So we must, please, don't incur any new debt. Focus on being a shelter for others. Do these things and realize that you are a stone and not a brick, and that God is our master, not man. If we do these things together, as strong individuals, we will change the world. Back in a minute. Tomorrow, you don't want to miss the show. The TSA and the full body scanners. Something's wrong with that story. We're going to talk to a few experts that have some information that surprisingly no one else has covered. Yeah, don't miss it. Tomorrow night from New York. Good night, America.